Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show, and today I'm here to give you a video talking about an anime I recently saw on Netflix called Kengan Ashura. Now, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. I'm terrible at pronouncing anime names, unless it's just like flat out, just like Full Metal Alchemist or Naruto or something like that, unless it's just like flat out Cowboy Bebop. So, Kengan Ashura. That is the name of the anime. Now, this anime is an interesting thing on Netflix. It's 10 episodes, I believe, broke at 12, actually. I think it's 10 or 12 episodes, and they're about an hour a piece. Or, no, they're about an hour a piece, and this anime is in a unique art style. Now, there's a lot of animes lately, especially on Netflix, especially the ones that Netflix purchases, that are trying this 3D animation style, where it's almost old school. It's almost like video game like in a weird way. But this anime does something interesting, which it's both 2D and 3D. I kind of sort of like the way they did it. It grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me. The more I watched, the more it grew on me, which it was this interesting that depending on the angle that the shot was made, it looked 2D. But then sometimes it would look 3D. It'd look like that 3D. Think Berserk. Think the Berserk trilogy and 3D that they made not that long ago. That's on Netflix. Think that. Sometimes it would look kind of like that. Like I'm talking about in terms of the actual visual. Maybe not exactly like the lips and the design, but the actual visual would look like that. And then other times it would look 2D. Like I said, it just depends on the angle. It would look 2D. Then 3D, then 2D, then 3D. It just it depended on the angle, and it took me a while to get used to it. But I grew to appreciate this art style because it just made it unique to me. Like I think of that anime when I think of that kind of a style. It's like, okay, that's cool. But getting into the actual anime itself, this takes place in Japan, as most fucking animes do, and in Japan, apparently thousands of years ago, these big people who own basically like the Japanese markets, these different markets, were like killing each other and backstabbing each other, and all kind of corrupt criminal shit. And eventually, the guy who was like some guy took, and eventually the guy who was running the area where all these guys were backstabbing and stuff said that this shit's enough. We're gonna you guys, you know what? This is how we're gonna settle disputes. You go scour the world and find the best fighter. You go scour the world and find the best fighter. You have them fight. Whoever wins, that guy wins the dispute, and that guy gets whatever they're disputing over. Simple. Thousands of years later, all these people who were in this market of Japan now pretty much run Japan. They're different people in different areas and companies, but like all of these billion-dollar, almost trillion-dollar companies are based off the back of this little thing. And it's worked, and they've gotten this big because they never stopped doing this. They never stopped settling disputes by finding great fighters around the world to fight in one-on-one combat to settle disputes. In fact, one of the first fights you see is a one-on-one dispute over the ownership of a $3 billion building, and it's a fight over a $3 billion the permits to this building, and they fight, and whoever wins gets the permits to the building. And honestly, this anime I enjoyed the hell out of because anime can get a little insane, as we all know. Like, the anime can get really, really insane and just really stupid. Like really stupid. And you're just like, this is insanity, dude. I can't even talk to anyone about this. Like some can, I love Naruto, but I would never talk about that to anyone. I talk Cowboy Bebop to people because Cowboy Bebop is just kind of a space thing, It's, when you watch it, it's not too outside of the realm of possibility. Things like Rurouni Kenshin, that's just simple swordsmanship. That's just simple, swordsmanship shit. Ghost in the Shell's a legendary, anime movie. But there's certain animes you just don't talk about. And it's like, in this one, it presents an actual feasible thing that could be easily translated to an American audience, is what I want to say. Because most animes, in my opinion, cannot be easily translated to a wider audience. But this premise, this idea of these elites settling their disputes by by scouring the earth for elite fighters to fight on their behalf to settle disputes instead of going through all these legal trauma to just go bam bam. You found a better fighter. You found the better fighter. Sounds a lot more plausible than than like maybe Full Metal, One Piece. It just sounds more plausible. It's like, okay, to a normal person, it's like, okay, I can buy that. So off the bat, I thought that was good. And also, unlike most animes, this anime doesn't have to, like, it has over the top action, but it's pseudo realistic action. Like, it's fist fights, it's fighting styles, it's technique, it's, hand to hand, it's kicking, it's punching, it's grappling, it's MMA. It's nothing too insane. There isn't no one jumping 20 feet in the air and a ball of lightning come out of his fist. It's nothing crazy like that. It is just, now granted, the only thing that's slightly insane is how ridiculously athletic, how ridiculously great shape all of these guys are in. Like, these anime characters are in godly shape, and it's just like, wow, man. Like, these characters are just in ridiculous shape, but it is what it is. But most of these characters are in ridiculous shape, and like, I'm talking like they are chiseled out of a mountain kind of shape. That's the only thing that is kind of a bit weird that's the only thing that's weird. But considering that most of these people are like elite level athletes and whatnot, I can sort of kind of understand why they look the way they look. So even that isn't too, big of a deal. So, but I believe the main character's name is Kazuyu. I believe the main character's name is Kazuyu. Well, there's two main characters. There's this older gentleman, and then there's Kazuyu. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I would hate to be that bad. Suddenly call a lower employee Kazuyu. Oh, wait. I think Kazuyu is the old man. Yeah, I think Kazuyu is the old man. But Kazuyu, he's really the main character, is the old man Kazuyu. I say old, but he's like in his late 50s. He's been working at this company for years, and one day he just runs into this. One day he's going down an alley, and he runs into, and he just sees two people about to fight. And there's this younger man who's the other main character. Now, like I said, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head for the life of me, but he's really bad. But he's this cut, chiseled, badass guy with long hair, with long black hair, and he's getting in this fight with this huge man. This anime did one great thing in a lot of animes completely don't do. A lot of animes forget to do. Which is, like a great book, it gets you with the hook. Which is, it shows you what this entire thing is about within the first few minutes. Within the first 10 minutes. First of all, this guy that's got the long hair is a badass, and he beats the shit out of this massive guy. But he doesn't do it in like this super duper over the top way. He does it by like using actual real life techniques and stuff that just dislocate his arm, dislocate his shoulders, use his weight against him, toss him around, things of that nature. And the old man sees it, and granted, some of the humor is typical anime over the topness. Like, the old man sees him beat the shit out of this huge guy, and he gets so petrified that he rethinks his entire life just because he watched a guy get his ass kicked. It's a little over the top, but it's still hilarious. And why this guy's walking past the old man doesn't know what to do. He's just like, what the fuck just happened? And he asks and they exchange names, and the badass loner walks away. I'm just gonna pronounce him as badass loner, walks away. Right off the bat, they said that this dude was feared for his life so much that the thought that he wanted to preserve him, that he was so overcome with the overwhelming will to preserve his genetics that he went to a prostitute and was banging a prostitute. And they showed it. They didn't show him banging the prostitute, but they really put it over the top that he was banging the prostitute. Like, it showed a girl, he was on top of her, shirt off, she was squealing. You knew what was happening. But right off the bat, it already got marks in my book because they actually acknowledge sex in this world. Because I've always said on many, many occasions that, which granted, this ain't shonen, so that's probably why. Because I was like, yeah, shonen treats sex like it's fucking Voldemort. He who shall not be named. They'll just like, oh, how'd that baby kill him? I don't know. Like, they'll make references and sly jokes to it, but they don't actually acknowledge it. Be like, this is what happens. And, this anime is like, no, this is how this is done. Like, there are outright references. There are multiple. Like, just, this is what I want to do. There are multiple things. There are multiple things. Like, honestly, if I had to describe this anime to you, think Tekken. If you've ever seen Tekken cutscenes, they're fucking awesome, by the way. Tekken has some awesome fight cutscenes. It's like Tekken, except in an anime form. It's like Tekken made an anime. It's like the guys behind Tekken made an anime in terms of the fight sequences. But anyways, this old dude, I love the old man's story because he literally goes from this old man, life's kind of shitty, I think his wife either left him or died. He has a son upstate. He has a son who's staying with him who never leaves his room. One of his sons, a hoodlum who's out doing shit. He's been working at this place for years, He gets shit talked down by his boss, by his manager, even though he does all the work. And all of a sudden, one day, the top guy, CEO, calls him up. You gotta imagine, in his mind, this is the equivalent of you working at Disney World. You being like assistant manager at Disney World. And you get a call and say, hey man, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney wants to talk to you. You gotta be like, the fuck? And he goes up there and the guy tells him, I want you to manage this man. And the mysterious badass loner walks in the room and CEO tells him all about this tournament and how they've been, how they've been fighting, how they decide all these things this way. And slowly, the old guy is the literal definition of the monkey in the middle. And it just gets more and more funnier the more and more he interacts with people, because it becomes so abruptly clear that he's just this ordinary man who is completely above his pay grade. He has no clue what's going on. He is just holding on by the seat of his pants and hoping that the shit don't fall off. And it's pretty entertaining to watch because it's funny, he doesn't know any of the lingo up here. He doesn't know what the money is like up here. When the first tournament is what I was telling you about, the $1 billion thing. He was just like, you guys gonna have a fist fight over $1 billion? Like $3 billion? That's a lot of fucking money. And it just keeps getting amped up and amped up and amped up, and the fights get amped up and amped up. And once they start introducing more of the actual people, and then you start to find out why the old man. You sort of start to find out, and at first you think this old man is just randomly selected, but you start to slowly find out why he was selected. You start to slowly find out why the mysterious loner is even in this area. You start to find out things about this about why everything is happening. You start to find out why the CEO wanted him and why the CEO is so stressed to win this thing. I love this anime, man. It has a lot of realistic ideas inside of it, which is what makes me like it more, because it has because it's not obviously it's an anime, so it's kind of over the top, but it has a lot of ideas, and even some of the fights and some of the way people fight is so unique and different. And like I said, it has some great ideas. I love the fight sequences because they're just really, really intense and badass and macho. They're not like I said, they're not over the top. Think like I said, think Tekken. Think a Tekken fighting game. Think Tekken, the cutscenes in Tekken, which are some of the most badass things I've ever seen. Sometimes I just stop and look at the cutscenes in Tekken because they're just so badass. Think cutscenes in Tekken, except in an anime form. And like I said, it seems whatever you think about this anime when you first started watching it, I'm just letting you know, by the end of it, by the time you get to the end of season 1, you're gonna think a little bit differently, because it's not going the direction you think it's going, or at least it's not. You start to discover so much more about all of these characters and so much more about what's going on behind the scenes, and it just escalates. But it escalates in a fascinating, in an intriguing way. It gives you what you want, really. Like if there's something that you want, you're like, okay, they might give that to you. And like I said, it just keeps getting better. And even all of the characters are slowly evolving over the course of the anime. Now, you could tell that this is I will admit, you could tell that this is the anime that's supposed to be like a chapter and a chapter kind of thing. This feels like an anime that's supposed to be made a lot like Berserk, where it's there's supposed to be a third one and something, because by the time you get to the end, you just really want to see more, because minor spoilers, eventually a tournament comes up, but it's an actual legitimate tournament for an actual good reason, first time ever. Most anime tournaments are just ridiculous and gratuitous and just there for just because they need one, because they gotta have one to satisfy people and fans' bloodlust. But this one actually has a reason behind it. I'm not gonna spoil that reason, but it has a good reason behind it. And there's 2 brackets, and you only get through half the bracket by the time you get to the end of the anime. You don't even get through the other half. So unless they're gonna speed run it, it's man, you didn't even finish all of that in this anime. So I can't wait for the second season of this. I hope it gets a second season. It was very enjoyable. But the fact that I enjoyed it means it's probably not gonna get a second season, because I've been waiting for Drifter Season 2 since 2015. So whatever. Thank you for joining me in the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. And did you check out Kengan Ashura? Did you check it out? Check it out on Netflix. It's about 10 to 12 episodes. I think it's about 45 to an hour a piece. I believe 45. I'm gonna go stick with 45. I don't think it's actually an hour, but it's a nice little time. It has a unique art style. It has amazing fights that look real. And I've always told the staff that I can't stand the Dragon Ball Z method of fighting, where you can't really even see the punches, where it's just people just throwing kicks and punches within it. It's barely even technique, and sometimes they go into technique, but then they just throw it away, and it just really means who's the stronger guy. It's like, there ain't no technique in this, but in this anime is legitimate technique. There are men who just purely beat people because of technique. When they're like, dude, you'd whoop my ass if I was just go straight up with you, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm a grappler. Like, love that. Love that. The fights are just amazing. The actual story is intriguing and just getting more intriguing. The comedy is pretty hilarious. This is probably one of the better animes I've seen in a while. I'm gonna give this anime, Kengan Ashura, 9. I'm gonna give it a 9. 9. High 9, man. High 9. It's almost a 9.5. It still has some quirky things, and the story feels a bit incomplete. And I don't know. I might even raise up on that, but I'm going to stick with the 9 on this anime. I had a great time watching it. It was a fun time. Thank you for joining me, Kengan Ashura. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.